Carb cycling. Should you do it? Shouldn't you do it? What is it? How does it work? Is it going to impact you in a negative way, or can it actually help you move forward to your goals? Hi, if you're new here, my name's Ashley. I lost 60 pounds within 6 months, got a tummy tuck, make vlogs. My channel's all about that. If you love staying on track to your goals, this is the channel for you. And so today I'm talking about carb ups, carb cycling, eating carbs when you're doing keto. Most of the time, people will tell you do not have carbs if you're doing keto. Sometimes you would be surprised, actually having some carbs can help you. After your first 2 months of following keto, if you want to have some carbs, but don't do it more than 2 days in a row, because then you're gonna have way too much glycogen in your system, and it's going to be really hard coming back. If you're trying to make this lifestyle a long-term decision, carb cycling can be very helpful for that. So I like to have carb cycle once every couple weeks now within my lifestyle. Carb cycle basically is you're going to have some carbs maybe for a day or maybe for a meal, whatever that is for you, that's fine. And so it's kicking you out of ketosis, and then you're getting back on track the next day. Keep in mind, you're not going to be continually losing fat while you're having these carb cycle days, and it can potentially cause you to gain a little bit of weight back. However, if it keeps you on track long term with keto, then it's definitely something to consider and might be worth it for you. Many people actually really do enjoy the flexibility of carb cycling, and that can help them with the long-term sustainability of this lifestyle. And so I think that is the #1 reason why and how it can become very helpful. If 95% of diets fail and within the first 1 to 5 years people gain back the weight they lose, we don't want that to happen to us, right? And so making this a lifestyle that we can stick to is beneficial. If you have carbs one day, just get back on track the next day. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, don't make this like something that you do continually over and over and over again, and it becomes like your lifestyle becomes your carb up. People are more likely to stick to keto long term if they incorporate carb cycling into their lifestyle. Another approach you can take to this is during your rest days or your days when you're getting less exercise. Maybe those are the days that you are strict keto and you're following the ketogenic lifestyle more so, or like a low carb lifestyle. And then on the days that you have more activity, you're working out, maybe you're lifting weights, maybe you're doing high intensity training, maybe you're doing just more activity than normal, those days, those will be the days that you could have your higher carb meals. Another strategy is people will have a higher carb day, and then the next day, they call it carb loading. The next day, they will go really heavy working out, and they will just utilize that to help them with the building of the muscle. Did you try carb cycling? Here's the thing. This is a totally personal choice. If you want to start doing carb cycling, try it out. Come back on track and see if it works for you. See if you like it. See if it enhances your lifestyle. There is such a thing as a carb hangover, and if you don't know what that is, that's when you wake up the next day, you're bloated, you're swollen, you just like don't feel yourself, and that can happen with excess carbs because carbs attract water, which cause bloating and cause swelling. And so that's the carb hangover. And sometimes you can get headaches too. And so you just want to do whatever makes you feel best in your lifestyle. So what's the difference between carb cycling and a cheat day? All right, so a cheat day is actually when you're just eating whatever the heck you want, you know, like pizza or, you know, just kind of like more junk food-ish type foods. And a carb cycle is when you're eating healthier carbs. And so if your goal is fat loss, it's beneficial for you to, on your carb heavier days, to still be consuming healthy food options. However, most of us who want to eat carbs randomly away from our ketogenic lifestyle want to eat the standard American diet. And I'm here to tell you, if that's what you want to do, if you're doing it like I'm doing it, whereas you go like 3 weeks straight strict keto and then you have your carb up day, you know, eating those comfort carb heavy foods is going to be okay. But also I want you to consider this as well. If you're doing it and you're not at your goal yet, then you might want to just have these carb up days or these carb cycling days, fewer in between. You want to go longer stretches strict keto and then have a carb up sort of carb cycle sort of day. During that time, you want to be eating more of like healthier carbs, you know, like the whole grains versus the YOLO, let's go eat Chinese food, let's go eat whatever we want types of foods. But when you reach your goal, and this is where the balance lies, guys, when you reach your goal, you can start eating those types of foods that maybe you pulled out of your lifestyle so you could drop the fat. And then on your carb up days, on your carb cycling days, you can consume those foods, because if this is gonna be a balance, this is gonna be a lifestyle that you're gonna stick to long term, you need to have ahead of you in the future something to look forward to. And a lot of times, those foods that you can't normally eat when you're following strict keto are the types of foods that you want to consume during that time. It's gonna help you with the sustainability of this lifestyle. So what I'm saying is, while you're on your journey to reaching your fat loss goals, if you do have a carb heavy sort of day and you do carb cycling, you just want to consider you probably still want to be in a calorie deficit. You don't necessarily have to be in a calorie deficit with keto, but if you don't want to experience a slight gain or a stall, then you probably want that carb heavier day to be less food than what you typically eat altogether. So I'm curious, do you do carb cycling? Do you typically have higher carb days? And how frequent are your higher carb days? Do you do it every 10 days? Do you do it every couple weeks? Are you doing it weekly? What are you doing? I'm curious. Put that in the comments below. For me personally, I like to be a little bit more thick. Like I like my body the way it is now, even though I'm not like a size 0. And so for me, having the occasional carb cycle day is how I'm adding balance to my lifestyle, but I'm like at my goal, you know what I mean? And so basically you have to tailor it around your goals and your lifestyle. But also keep in mind, guys, I do consume ketones every day. And so even if I have carb heavy days, I still have blood ketone levels that are elevated, and so it's easier for me to switch back and forth in between going from like a higher carbohydrate meal to going back and forth to a strict keto lifestyle. And so I'll link the products I use in the description below. I have like a sample pack you can try out, totally optional, but like I said before, it can help you if you're like, I want to make this lifestyle something that I can stick to with more of a balance, then it might help you to do that. You definitely want to check out my What I Eat in a Day vlogs, because I think those are going to help you guys just stay on track long term. This one that I did, which was a day after a carb cycle day, so you can see what I did in my lifestyle coming off of a day of eating carbs.